But it is what it was and what it do, y'all. Jackei, my Jackei Beauty, and welcome back to my channel. So today on Hair Basics, we're going to be talking about cleansers, and that's pre-shampoo, shampoos, and cleansing co-washes. So if you guys want to know more about that, then keep on watching. Also, I want to make sure I give everyone a chance to subscribe and join the beauty club. Love you guys to be part of the fam here. So make sure you hit that bell button so you get notifications of when I upload. And also, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So make sure to follow me, friend me, comment on whatever post or image I put up. And I'm looking forward to interacting with you guys on those platforms. Okay, let's get on with this hair basic. Alright, so we are talking about cleansers. And so I know my hair routine video I kind of broke down mostly my main cleansers being shampoo, but this one I kind of want to do a more in-depth video talking about the different forms of cleansers that you can use and their purposes, as well as a little bit more background information about things like sulfates versus non-sulfates, and whether or not a conditioner is a good co-wash. So let's get started. So the first in the category that I want to talk about is pre-shampoos. Now there is a form of pre-shampoo that is a treatment. I mean, it's literally called hot oil treatment. So we won't be talking about that in this video. We'll be talking about that in the treatment video. But we will be talking about the typical kind of like gel pre-shampoos that you've seen out in the market, as well as clay masks that can be used as pre-shampoo treatments. And so when I see a gel pre-shampoo, what comes to mind automatically is something that's supposed to remove buildup and something that's supposed to help detangle the hair. And that's typically their purposes. And so typically with these gels, I feel like they're kind of taking the same role as a micellar water, and they're just meant to really get in there and help remove the buildup and all the debris and everything from the scalp, and be able to like cleanse out your hair before you go on to shampoo. And so I typically reach for these when it's been a long period of time between my washes, so 2 weeks plus, or after I'm cleansing my hair when I've had my hair in a protective style like this one. And so yeah, I tend to reach for those products if I really need to get this buildup and stuff taken care of, as well as getting things detangled. Because the longer you go between your wash cycles, especially when your hair is natural, the more crazy it can get up there. So these products are very helpful when it comes to that. And so clay masks are kind of a different little product that you put in your hair before you do shampoo. And so these are meant to draw all the toxins out of your hair and kind of give your hair a clean slate. And so this is very similar to when people use clay mask on their skin. And so typically you would wash your skin first and everything rather than going straight into a clay mask. But either way, you use a clay mask and then you rinse it off. And then you go onto your toners and your serums as well as your moisturizers. And basically that just sets up everything, and it removes all the dirt and the nastiness and keeps your skin very open and receptive to all the good nutrients that'll be coming into it. So clay masks do the same thing with your hair. And so it's really hard to put in good nutrients and good things into your hair when it's already chock full of toxins and things like that. And so if you just find that your hair is not really taking to styles or not really like being receptive to different nutrients and things that you've been using, try a clay mask. That might be very helpful for you. And so pre-shampoos, as I said before, are a little bit of extra, kind of like the cherry on top. And so again, I like to use them when I just really need something heavy duty to just kind of help me out and take care of my hair. I probably use the gel pre-shampoos way more often than the clay mask, just because I don't find my hair having too much of a product overload. But I have used one, and it's really great at just restoring the hair and bringing the curl back. And so next we have shampoos. So shampoos I kind of separate into moisturizing as well as clarifying shampoos. Those kind of do two opposite things. There are shampoos that do both. I believe they're out on the market because there are some clarifiers that are just too dang clarifying and just leave your hair super dry. But just now in the market, I feel like things have gotten so much better to where I kind of like to keep my moisturizing shampoo separate from my clarifying shampoos, And that's just because of how things kind of work out in my routine and everything. And I'll explain that a little bit more later. But first, we're going to talk about clarifying shampoos. These are great at doing exactly what it says, clarifying, getting rid of all that gunk on your scalp and your hair. And so with all of the gels and the butters and the leave-ins and stuff that we use, sometimes we just need something that'll just really clean and get all that stuff off. And so we'll be able to use those things again and for them to be just as effective. And so I enjoy clarifying shampoos for that purpose, just because I tend to use a lot of products that are a little bit heavier, and basically keeps my scalp from being itchy and prevents me from having a lot of issues with product buildup, because that is definitely something that I believe people with natural hair especially, or people who use heavy products, have to be aware of and have to try to avoid. And so for moisturizing shampoos, these are really great because they still clean your hair, but they also don't strip as much of your natural oils and everything that's meant to keep your hair healthy. If you find that shampoos are too drying for you, or that just a frequency of washing your hair is causing irritation, I would try switching to a moisturizing shampoo. Now, in general, I would not shampoo your hair more than once a week, whether you're relaxed or natural, unless you are very active in doing sports or you work in an environment where there's a lot of debris and dust and all that. And honestly too, you could even co-wash, but I know that some people don't really like co-washes. So you have the option of a moisturizing shampoo, and to use that halfway through the week, and then when you do wash your hair, again, to go ahead and use a clarifying shampoo. And so that's why I like to keep my moisturizing shampoos separate from my clarifying shampoos, because I feel like they have two unique purposes for me, and I found that works really well for my hair. And so in talking about the different kinds of shampoos, we of course need to talk about sulfates versus non-sulfates. And so sulfates are basically surfactants that are meant to take out the dirt and debris out of your hair and leave your hair and scalp nice and clean. And so typically the surfactants are these three. Two of them are sodium, and one of them I think is an ammonium one, and that one is the least intense, or I should say the more mild sulfate surfactant. Yeah, it's the more mild sulfate. And so those were the big ones that were used a lot. I would say honestly 10 plus years ago, I would see that in every shampoo product. And those surfactants were so intense that it was giving people issues with their scalp and causing itchiness and flakiness and all that. And is also drying out the hair and just having it be super unhealthy. So then around that time, what hit the market? Non-sulfate shampoos. And so non-sulfate shampoos typically use more naturally derived, whether it's, man-made or naturally found, but naturally derived surfactants to help cleanse the hair. And these don't tend to lather as much, because that's a big thing about sulfates, is that they lather, and the lathers would help cleanses the hair, while these ones use other things like acids as well as other different types of surfactants to clean the hair, and so they don't lather as much as the sulfates. And so these non-sulfate shampoos is really good for people who have color in their hair, because it doesn't strip the color and it allows it to last longer. It was helpful for people with dry, frizzy hair and scalp issues, as well as people with curls, kinks, and coils. And so I personally do look for products that do not have sulfates in it. I will say though, I have used products with sulfates in it and have not found it to be super detrimental, but I think that's also because I'm very intentional about putting moisture in my hair. And so that would be my little bit of a warning, or a little bit of my 2 cents in this video, is that if you do use a product, well, any kind of cleanser with a sulfate in it, just make sure you're using something that will reinforce moisture afterwards and won't, have your scalp being irritated or have your hair dry and, frizzy and acting crazy. All right, and then now that last but not least, let's talk about cleansing conditioners as well as co-washes. Now, I love these because I feel like they really up the ante and is a step above a moisturizing shampoo, where if you feel like your hair just really needs that extra moisture, these cleansing conditioners and co-washes got you. And they're also really great at detangling hair. And so I did go through a season where I was only using co-washes. I realized though that you have to be careful with that, because you can get moisture overload, which I did, and I had to switch to shampoos. So do be careful of that with using cleansing conditioners or co-washes only. That's something just to be aware of. But I just loved using it because it detangled well. And also too, I had a moment where I had protein overload. And so I found that using a co-wash really helped reinforce the moisture, because I was using co-washes as well as deep treatments and keeping my hair very moisturized. And it honestly maybe took 2 to 3 weeks to get my hair back to its balance. And then I could go back to shampoos and everything and just do what I normally did. So I really like co-washes and cleansing conditioners. These typically also are your like no poo cleansers, and so like Diva Curl has one, as well as a few other brands, and so I kind of categorize these all in the same area. And so I just really like them also because they have surfactants in it, or they have ingredients in it that are meant to cleanse. And so that's why I feel like that was what makes cleansing conditioners different than just conditioners, because of the word cleansing. You know, you really, it's so important to make sure that your scalp and your hair is clean. If your scalp is not clean, your hair will not grow and healthy. A healthy scalp is very important to hair health. And so what kind of was my check and kind of brought me back to reality when it comes to cleansing my hair was just checking my scalp after I washed it. And so I would go and like run my finger or my nail through it, and I would just do it gently. You know, you don't need to scratch hard, but I would do it gently. And if I saw anything on my finger, then I would know I had to cleanse again. If there's nothing, I knew that the product worked well and that I was good to go. And so if you do decide to use a conditioner in place of a shampoo, a cleansing conditioner, a co-wash or whatever, just make sure then that is actually cleansing your hair, that you're rinsing all of it out too, because leaving some of that stuff in your hair can cause irritation as well as like flaky scalp. So basically, here's all the things you need to know about cleansers. You have your pre-shampoos that are gel cleansers, as well as clay masks that are detoxifiers. You have your regular shampoos. They can be moisturizing and clarifying. They can be both if you need them to be. Honestly, it's just whatever you need. There are also some without sulfates and some with sulfates, but if your hair is color treated, dry or frizzy, kinky, curly, or coily, it is recommended to use a non-sulfate shampoo so that your hair doesn't get dried out too much. And if you feel like your hair really needs a little bit extra moisture and you just want to be able to tangle in the same time as you're cleansing your hair, you got cleansing conditioners as well as co-washes. And just be careful when using your conditioner instead of a cleanser, because you want to make sure that you clean off your scalp and your hair. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to say thank you to all the sources that I've used. They will be linked down below. Go ahead, check out those articles. They're not long reads, and it's just very helpful to have this knowledge in your back pocket. I hope that video was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. Let me know if you use sulfates or not, or do you prefer co-washes? Do you like shampoos? Do you just skip pre-shampoo and just go straight into cleansing your hair because you don't have time for it? Let me know down below. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. And so yeah, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys later. Much love. Bye.